Like, that's what my job is. My job is to make them feel comfortable. And it's also to make them feel like I'm in control and I'm going to guide them to the right decision, because I have the insurance license. They do not. So it's my job to take control. We're going to be talking about really how to show the options, how to close the deal. But I think more importantly than that, I think it's really important to know that your closing, it comes from the beginning of your appointment. So the setting of the table is everything. We're going to briefly touch on the setting of the table, and we're going to spend the majority of this time really running through different scenarios. I mentioned that I got this new handy dandy tool, this document camera here. So I can put my paper underneath, I can write on it, I can show you guys how I go through the financial inventory, how I fill out the client profile, really everything that we're going to be able to do. And whether you're in the home or you are doing this via telesales, it doesn't really matter. I think that if you are not writing things down, you are going to be shooting yourself in the foot 1,000%, regardless of if it's in the home, regardless of if it's, over the phone. So I think there's a psychology behind how we do this. And we're going to talk about, the 3-option close versus top-down selling. If you've been here for a while, you understand, you can show them 3 options, or I can show them the max amount of coverage and then kind of work the way down, through the budget. There's different ways to do it. How do you sell to a couple versus an individual? How do you write that out on a paper? 2 options for, husband and wife. How do you fill out a financial inventory for more than one person? What does that look like? How do you add on accidental, and how do you show people the total premium when we're talking about multiple policies? So we're going to walk through that here in just a moment. But I think that one thing that I could do, which will be kind of powerful for people to see, is just that setting of the table. Okay, so we're going to pretend we're doing an in-home, and we're going to do a quick setting of the table of what I would actually do, what I would pull out, what I would show the client. I think that's a really big deal to be able to help you guys understand the psychology behind, setting ourselves up for starting to fill out the financial inventory. So I sit down with the client. Hey, Sean, I'm going to use Sean, for example. He doesn't have to answer back with me. Hey, Sean, nice to meet you, man. Thanks for having me over here. Hey, real quick, I just want to go ahead and have you take a look. This is my state license, just so you can verify that I am who I say I am. Go ahead, pull out your cell phone, take a picture of that, make sure that you obviously have that for your records. Okay. And just so you know, Sean, hey, no fancy presentation, because I'm not the insurance sales guy, but I am a broker, and I do work with, about 30 or 40 different companies. So what I'm gonna be able to do for you is I'm gonna be able to kind of shop around for you and help you, figure out what's going to be, the best fit for you. So, hey, the way that this is going to work is I'm just going to ask you about 2 minutes of questions on your health, about a minute on your finances. Based on how you answer, I'll make a quick recommendation. I'll show you a couple of options. And if we see something that makes sense, we're going to go ahead and we're going to submit a request for coverage to see if you can qualify. Does that make sense? Yes, absolutely. So really, really simple in regards to, hey, here's my state license. Take a picture of it. Hey, here's all the carriers that I work with. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask you some questions. So when you're in the home, you have the ability to be able to literally show them what you're going to do. Now, if we're doing this thing from a virtual perspective, how do you accomplish that exact same thing? So a lot of us have our verified producer websites through a couple of different softwares. You have your digital business card. You just have a picture of your state license and your driver's license. So if you're doing a telesale, same thing. Hey, Sean, thanks for jumping on this appointment with me. Obviously, we're going to talk about your life insurance. Hey, did you get that text message that I sent you before the appointment here? It had that link, seansimpson.verifiedproducer.com or whatever it was. Or did you click that? Yep. Okay, great. Did you see that national producer number in the top right corner? corner. That's like my social security number for doing insurance. Just go ahead, screenshot that, save it for your records. That's how you can hold me accountable, etc. And now same deal. I'm just going to set the table. And of course, I'm skipping over a few things in regards to, finding out why they want the insurance, but just to give you guys just a basic overview here, same deal. Hey, no fancy presentation. I'm not the insurance sales guy, insurance sales girl. I'm just the underwriter. Now I do work with a lot of different companies, about 40 or 50, because I am a broker. So I can shop around for you. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, great. Now here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to ask you 2 minutes of questions on your health, about a minute on your finance. Based on how you answer those questions, I'm going to make a recommendation. I'll show you a couple of options. And if we see something that makes sense, we're going to submit a request for coverage to see if you can qualify. The whole thing is the psychology behind I'm increasing credibility, I'm reducing sales pressure. Increasing credibility by letting them know who I am, here's my license, here's my credentials. Letting them know here's what we're going to do. That has to become a part of your vocabulary. It has to become a part of who you are. Here's what we're going to do today. It doesn't matter if it's in the beginning of the appointment. If your appointment starts going off into left field and crazy, you got to take control. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. The client can't make a decision. Here's what we're going to do. You have to lead, guide, and direct them. The client is looking for you to be strong. The client is looking for you to be sure. If you're not sure, they're not sure. There's been many times, even in like the last week, I showed a client like 7 options, which I knew was a mistake. And I asked them what direction they wanted to go. And they said, well, I need to think about it. Of course they need to think about it because I wasn't sure. If I wasn't sure, why the heck would they be sure? Like, I'm trying to lead them in the direction that I want them to go. I'm trying to be in full control. I'm trying to psychologically help them get an insurance policy that they can afford and that they're not going to cancel. That's going to check all the boxes for them. It's going to make them feel protected. It's going to make them feel like there was a value add and that they have a solution that's going to, make them feel like they can sleep good at night, not a regrettable decision that's just now another bill that's too expensive. Like, that's what my job is. My job is to make them feel comfortable. And it's also to make them feel like I'm in control and I'm going to guide them to the right decision because I have the insurance license. They do not. So it's my job to take control, and you do it in, a nice way. Like, I'm not trying to domineer a client in any way, but at the same time, like, a client is going to respect somebody that knows where they want to go with this thing rather than someone who's really, really unsure.